Oh, it's 2 lines. Bird, spit. Hello. Oh, I've got it, I can guess it. Hail to thee, fly spirit. Bird thou never wert. I think that's very nice. In fact, whoever thought of it? Hail to thee.
The word unfathomable means incapable of being fully explored or explained. Good evening.
Good evening.
Before we go any further, I would like someone just to take the DVD out of this DVD player, perhaps yourself, sir, just on the end there. Just take that disc, put it into this case, and keep hold of it. We'll come back to it later on in the show. Now, we know you're an intelligent audience. You know that magic isn't real. But what we're going to present you with tonight isn't actually magic. Not exactly. But we don't want you to think that we're pulling a fast one on you, or there's any trickery involved. So why don't we start with one of you, and something that you own. If you have a mobile phone in your pocket, would you take it out? And if you have signal in this room, and you know how to use the speakerphone function, would you raise your hand? Someone on the second row there, your hand went up first. Yep. Would you come this way, please? Can you make your way out? Is that all right? You get a nice round of applause. Don't worry, we'll look after you. Give a round of applause, please. Thank you much. Nice to meet you. What's your name, sir?
Chris.
Chris.
Yep.
Would you come and just sit down here for me, Chris? Fantastic. Lovely. Is that a nice tartan scarf you've got there, sir? Now, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to ring this phone number. Okay. So could you get it ready on your phone for me?
Yep.
I'll give you
I'll
that. Perfect. We're also going to have a playing card selected as well. I'm just going to spread these cards out for you when you're ready to have a look, just so that you can verify that they are in fact all different, because if they're all the same, obviously my life is way too easy. Are you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
They're all different, yes?
That's it.
Yeah? Perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask you to touch one of these playing cards, if you wouldn't mind. Just touch any one and just pull it towards yourself and just leave it on the table there. Is that all right? Is that the one you want? Yeah? Perfect. Okay. Have a look at it for me. Keep it secret to yourself and then burn it into your mind.
Okay.
Thank you very much. How about you put it in your pocket?
Here you go.
Now what we're going to present you with tonight is something known as telepathy. This is, goes back to the 1940s, 50s, where a double act called the Piddingtons were all in vogue. Sydney and Leslie Piddington were an Australian married couple with an extraordinary talent or gift. They could pick up on each other's thoughts. On one occasion, Leslie was 30,000 feet up in an aircraft. Sydney was in a radio station. He asked somebody to write down a line of poetry. Then, without saying a word, he would concentrate on the line, and Leslie could pick up on what it was. That was the recording you heard at the start. Now, my counterpart for tonight's show isn't 30,000 feet away, but she is somewhere else in the hotel, and she's waiting for your call. So, if you would be so kind as to make that call and put your phone on speakerphone, please.
Hello.
Hi, my name's Rebecca. I'm going to be joining you in just a moment. What's your name?
I'm Chris.
Chris. Hi, Chris. Is
Hello.
the speaker turned on your phone?
It is.
Wonderful. Can you make sure it's turned all the way up for me?
Yep.
Fantastic. Hello, audience. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, Chris, you should have a card on you. Is that correct?
Yep.
Fantastic. Now, what I'd like you to do is take that card and put it face down on the green card table without letting anyone else see it.
Okay. Working out.
And now what's going to happen is Karen is just going to come and have a peek at that card. She's not going to say or do anything else. She's going to peek it so you can help me concentrate on it.
He's done that.
of Hearts?
It is indeed.
It is the King of Hearts. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Chris. Now, the history of magic and mentalism is really quite interesting. If you go back far enough in time, you'll discover the term second sight. This referred to an ability that some performers claimed to have. And if you went just down the road here on Piccadilly in the Victorian era, you would discover a building with an Egyptian-themed facade called the Egyptian Hall. And it was one of the most important magic venues of its time. There was one act there that particularly interested me. The mysterious lady at Egyptian Hall claimed to be able to do some extraordinary things, and she had an interesting presentation. She'd usually be sat with her back to the audience. Quite often, she'd have her face veiled to conceal her identity. In this position, she could tell you which way up you were holding a dice. Or she could reveal a playing card held close to your chest that she couldn't possibly have seen. And on one occasion, she was reported to have heard something whispered from one person to another at the back of the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome my counterpart for the rest of tonight's show, Rebecca Herrera. News of the mysterious lady's act even reached the ears of Queen Victoria, who paid her a visit herself to see the impossible feats that she could perform. And the price of entry to Egyptian Hall at the time was 1 shilling. For this, you could witness the mysterious lady's act, or any other magician who happened to be on that week. So why don't we pay a shilling tonight and see what the mysterious lady can do for us. Perhaps, if I could ask you, sir, come and join me at the table over here. Have a look at the shilling for me. It has a head and a tail, does it not?
Yeah.
Yeah? What I want you to do is to take it and spin it on the tray for me like this, okay? And we'll see if our mysterious lady can pick up on which way the coin lands tonight.
It's tails.
Is it tails?
Yeah, it is.
It is tails. Do it again for me, please. Let's make sure it's not a fluke.
It's tails.
Is it tails again?
Yeah, it is.
It is, absolutely. One more time, please.
It's heads.
Is it heads this time? Yes, it is. Fantastic. Why don't we take this one stage further? I have here a 6-sided dice. Have a look at that. Just make sure that it's normal dice.
Yep.
Are you happy with that? Perfect. I would like you to roll it on the tray and concentrate on which way up it lands for me, okay? Concentrate.
It's 1.
Did you roll a 1?
Yeah.
He did. Take it again for me, please. Concentrate.
It's 3.
You rolled a 3 this time, didn't you? Yeah, he did. Okay, one more time, please. Concentrate.
It's 1.
And you rolled a 1 that one last time, didn't you? Thank you very much. Yeah. You know what? You can even keep that as a souvenir of the show. Thank you very much. Have a seat. Let's take this one stage further. Could I ask people to write down for me a single-digit number, keep them nice and small. We're going to add them up and make a total, a unique total from this audience tonight. So let me see if I can start over here. Perhaps you saw on the end. Would you write down a single-digit number, please? Okay. Single-digit number, please. A single-digit number, please. A single-digit number, please. Single-digit number, please. A single-digit number, please. Superstar. Would you add the numbers up for me?
It's 27.
Could you add them up for me?
It's 27.
Is it 27?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Now, I'm a magician.
And I'm not. I can't shuffle a deck of cards to save my life or even do a simple piece of sleight of hand.
Go on, try.
No thanks, you really don't want to see me try.
Well, practice makes perfect.
Thanks, but dexterity just isn't my thing. I do have a sort of intuition though. I'm not exactly sure how I can do what I can do. I'm not even really sure what it is.
Now, before we go any further, we don't think that we're, playing a trick on you or anything like that, so we'd like you to check everything before we proceed. And the ways that, people were accused of cheating in the past were doing things like using a hidden verbal code or even electronics, and we don't use such methods. And in the Victorian era, there was even one act who had a thin thread attached to them, and the stagehand would pull the thread to cue them information. Sounds ridiculous, but these things genuinely happened.
So we're going to need someone from the audience to come and check us over. Is there anyone here who is involved in security in any way? Or that... Oh, here? Fantastic. Would you please come and join us on the stage?
Round of applause, please. Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Matt.
Max.
Matt.
Perfect. Could you first of all, Matt, check that we don't have any threads attached to us, please?
Definitely worth
Exactly. In which case, you'll know about all the methods of concealing things. Could you check in our ears, please? Make sure there's nothing hidden in our ears. Yeah, you check the other ear as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Rebecca, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check there's nothing hidden inside our mouths.
Yeah.
You can even go so far as to check in our shoes or our socks, but maybe we won't go that far. How about if I can grab the metal detector? Thank you very much. You'll be used to using one of these. And I'll just show you it works first. Like this, okay? Could I ask you just to maybe give us a once-over with that and make sure that there's no kind of, electronic devices concealed on our person? Is it the buttons? Okay. Perfect, thank you very much indeed. Is there anything else you'd like to check on our person, given that there was a little sound there? Do you want to check my jacket or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. At least you know if we're going to cheat now, it will be in the fairest possible way. Metal or electronics hidden inside my jacket.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for helping. Give a round of applause, please. Now, I mentioned earlier on that one of the things Mysterious Lady claimed to be able to do was hear things whispered from one person to another, and she wasn't the first person to do this, was she?
No, she wasn't.
The first magic book in English was called
The Discovery of Witchcraft.
And it was published in 1584 by somebody called Reginald Scott. And in there's a clue as to how a mysterious lady might have performed this particular feat. And also, there was another act as well at Egyptian Hall, wasn't there, who claimed to be able to hear things whispered. 1831, I think it was?
Yes, the double-sighted phenomenon.
A 10-year-old Scottish boy who claims to be able to hear things whispered from over 100 yards distance. Now, we don't have 100 yards here, but we'd like to try something similar.
Yes. I have here a milk bottle. Could I please get you to check this? Make sure it is indeed a milk bottle. There's nothing hidden inside it or around it.
I have here some pieces of card with phrases written on them, and they have been chosen for their phonetic sound or use of consonants. So this will become clear in just a moment as to why that is. If I could maybe ask if you would just have a look through and make sure that they're not repeated. So this, yeah, I'll go through all the way through.
I will face away as the mysterious lady would do in her act.
Happy?
Yeah.
Got it. Can I ask you just to take anyone out you like? Okay, and just keep it secret to yourself, and then burn it into your brain. Good. Put it into your pocket. Are you happy with the milk bottle? Perfect. Could you pass it down to this gentleman here? What I would like you to do is just hold it to your ear. Can you hear anything in there?
Not really, no.
No, that'd be ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But I want you to try something. Could you whisper your phrase into the bottle as quietly as you can and then stop it over with your hand to keep the whisper inside, okay? Really quietly. I'll turn away and stop my ears as well. Have you done it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me take that off you.
I could hear there were these three sort of long vowel sounds like O, E, ow, E, and there was something quite guttural, like go, and gra. Yes, I heard goats eat grass.
Would you read it out, please? What was it that you had?
Goats eat grass.
The term astral projection means an out-of-body experience. Now, much more recently than the discovery of witchcraft, there was an article published in a particular journal. What was the journal, Rebecca?
The Journal of the American Society for Psychical Research.
That's right. But apparently, out-of-body experiences are quite difficult to investigate because most people only have maybe one of them in their lifetime if they're lucky, such as in a near-death experience. But you found something interesting in the article, didn't you?
Yes, I did. So, I was reading about somebody called Charles Hart. I know. And he was interested in someone who he called Miss Z to protect her identity. Now, Miss Z claimed to have 3 to 4 out-of-body experiences a week. Yes, it is. And so they conducted a study where the aim, or hope, was that Miss Z would have an out-of-body experience and would float up out of her body and be able to look down on some numbers which were on a shelf above her bed.
And presumably it was all done under strict scientific conditions, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've drawn here is a diagram of Miss Z's sleep laboratory. So you can see the bed that she slept in, the shelf that the numbers were on, and the observation window. So she was being observed at all times.
It seems pretty difficult that she could cheat under these conditions, but what was the conclusion of the study? Did it think that she might be genuine or somehow a fraud?
Well, it seemed as if she did have an out-of-body experience because she could correctly guess the numbers on the shelf. However, Charles Hart did admit in the write-up of his study that he would occasionally doze off in the observation room. So what critics have suggested is that Miss Z waited until she could hear him snoring and then just stood up and looked at the numbers. Of course, if that is what happened, there would have been a spike in the ECG monitor she was hooked up to.
Was there?
Yes, there was. But Charles Hart said that proved she did have an out-of-body experience because it showed a move from REM sleep into alphoid sleep patterns. So make of that what you will.
Well, in any case, you've been practicing a sort of breathing meditation sequence that you said had allowed you to see things somehow remotely?
Yes, so I'm not claiming to be able to float out of my body, but I have been able to see things that you wouldn't normally be able to see from the floor. That's how I'd describe it.
Okay. Well, why don't we set up the conditions of the experiment and see if we can get anywhere close tonight?
Yes, let's do it. So, I have here a blindfold. Could I please get you to check this for me? Make sure it's completely opaque, there's no hidden holes and there's nothing hidden inside it. Happy?
Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. Tony, could you please help me tie this around my eyes?
Just to check, you genuinely couldn't see anything through the blindfold, right? Otherwise sort of defeats the object. Make sure that this is tied tightly. Is that okay?
Yes, that's perfect, thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience that's in any way involved in the medical profession? Don't all shout at once. If not, we'll just pick someone at random. Okay, fine. And maybe if I ask gentleman here, would you help? Would you all right? That's all right, no problem. And maybe gentleman at the back there, would you come and help me? Is that all right? Thank you so much. Give a round of applause. Thank you. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Anthony. Perfect. Can I ask you to just come and kneel down next to Rebecca here? You'll find 2 dots on her wrist there, okay? I'll give you time to do this, but if you squeeze on her wrist at the 2 dots, you will actually, with 2 fingers like this, you'll actually be able to feel her pulse. If you just squeeze against those 2 dots there. I'm going to ask you something about that in a moment. You have time to find them, so don't panic. Now, if I could maybe ask you, sir, to help me. You're going to play the part of the shelf, okay? So if you just stand a little bit further forwards from me here, that'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. Stay exactly there. I'm going to give you this. You just hold it like that for me. Perfect. Over here we have some playing cards. So if I could maybe ask if you would do this. Just take the cards and just cut them wherever you like for me, if that's okay. Just cut them wherever you want. Okay, and then I just want you to lift the whole thing just straight on top of your head. Okay, and if you can just stand up for me, if that's all right, and just stay in that position. So now, the only way Rebecca will be able to see that is to look down from the ceiling, okay? We have here some wooden numbers. Could I maybe ask if maybe you'd like to mix those up for me, please? And then you're going to pass me 5 numbers in no particular order. One at a time would be fine. Okay. You can try and remember this number, audience, if you wish. Okay. How are you doing?
Yeah, all good, yeah.
Managed to find the pulse?
Yeah, we're in it.
Perfect. I want you just to concentrate on the pulse for me. Tell me if you feel anything change. How is it now?
And there's a sort of changing.
Yeah? Tell me what you can feel now.
It seems just like the sort of wrist is just tightening, if anything. It's sort of going away.
It's going away.
Yeah.
Can you feel the pulse now?
the numbers. They were 1, 7, 3, 6, 8.
Would you read the numbers out, please, nice and loudly for us?
1, 7, 3, 6, 8.
Close enough. Thank you very much indeed. Well done. Excellent. And don't forget the card. What's that?
Yes, it was the 8 of diamonds.
Would you show us, please, what the card is on your head for the first time?
Hey.
8 of diamonds? Yes, it is. Thank you very much indeed. Over time, psychics have claimed to be able to manipulate objects with the power of their minds, or heighten one sense by removing another. And interestingly, there are people who've claimed no psychic ability who've also been able to do this. Now, I wonder if you could tell me a little bit about that story.
Yes, quite recently there was a blind man, and he was able to use echolocation, kind of like a bat, so he could bounce sound off of objects to work out their distance from him. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I've been working on something sort of similar, which I call seeing with your ears.
Take it away.
So it's a very simple concept, really. I'll show you how it starts. I'm going to draw a shape on the board. I want you all to watch as I do so. Okay, so as I drew the circle, you should have also been able to hear me draw it. So now we're going to try that again, but this time I want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to draw a different shape. So everyone close your eyes now. Okay, open your eyes. If you saw a square, raise your hand. Fantastic, okay, most people here, wonderful. So now we're going to try something a little bit trickier. I'm going to write a single digit number. So close your eyes and listen carefully. Okay, open your eyes. If you saw a 7, raise your hand. And you would be correct. Okay, so we're going to try one more thing. I am going to draw a picture. Don't worry if you can't get this one, it's much more complicated. I'm not expecting everyone to get it, but close your eyes, listen carefully, and we'll give it a go. Okay, and open your eyes. If you saw a house, raise your hand. Wonderful. Okay, more people than I expected. So now I would like to show you my seeing with your ears test. So for this, I am going to need somebody from the audience to come and draw a picture. Could you please point to anyone else in the audience for me? Who's that? Is looking at the back here?
Yeah.
Yes? Wonderful. Would you mind coming and drawing a picture for us? Thank you so much. What's your name? Lindsay. Lovely to meet you. I'm going to sit in this chair here so I can't see what you're drawing. Tony, would you mind tying this blindfold for me?
Mm-hmm. Is that okay? Is it too tight?
Yes, that's perfect.
Great. Now, Lindsay, you can draw anything that you like, but I would say one thing. Make sure it's something we can all recognise. Off you go. Are you done?
Thank you. There was something almost like quite circular, almost like a beach ball or something. It was this rounded shape, and there was something almost like arrows, something pointing somewhere, like little triangles, and there was maybe these dots, yeah, almost like polka dots, but there were just these two of them, and I could hear this. Yeah, it was not quite straight, but not quite rounded. This like almost like a wave or something like that, like a. Yes, Lindsay, you've drawn a cat.
That's correct. Yes. Thank you very much indeed.
Using my mental powers always makes me hungry.
Then you must eat. Of course, as a magician, it would be no problem at all for me to wave my hands over a silver cloche dome and produce all manner of delicious dishes. But to satisfy the appetite of a telepath, you need to cook up something far more interesting, using the one ingredient that matters, your thoughts.
I've tasted many kinds of thoughts. Some are sour, others spicy, but you do get sweet ones too. Now, I am quite famished, so...
Oh, well, maybe you should choose something from the Palm Court.
Sounds delightful. I can't decide.
Oh, well, maybe we should ask the audience for some suggestions tonight. Perhaps, if you would take the menu, please, you could have a look for a main course, or even a main course of your own choice that perhaps isn't even in the menu, might be of interest. Perhaps you have a favourite main course in mind. If I could ask you, please, to take a piece of tissue paper, and you can lean on there if you wish. I'm going to ask you to write down a main course for me. Just make sure that you do it legibly in case we need to look at it again. Perhaps if I could ask you to take, let's see, this one here. There you are. And I'll give you something to lean on. If you'd be so kind as to write down a dessert. Something for Rebecca to enjoy after the main course. And maybe over here, if I could ask you to take the last piece of tissue. You may lean on this. And write down a beverage, something for Rebecca to enjoy while she's eating her meal. Now, as soon as you've done this, please would you screw it up into a tiny little ball so that we cannot see any of that writing. You done that? Yeah. Hold it up so I can see you're done. Into a really small ball for me, as small as you possibly can. As small as you possibly can. There's absolutely no way we can see anything. Thank you so much. Thank you. And there's one over here as well. Thank you very much indeed. Lovely. Here we go. Now, you can just drop those folders and things just underneath your chairs, that'd be fine. And if I could maybe ask, let me see, Rebecca, if you would like to smell the different dishes there. Of course, in this establishment, you would enjoy a little bit of close-up magic prior to your meal. So perhaps, Miss Herrera, you would like to see a little something?
I'll go on then.
Please select a playing card. And show it to the audience, please. And drop it straight back in for me. Lovely. Which hand do you write with?
My left.
Would you hold your left hand palm up? It's a little lower down for me. Watch the 2 of clubs here. If I place it just onto your hand like so, roll my sleeve up. Watch. Oh. The little wave. Interestingly, in my inside pocket just here, I have one playing card that looks exactly like the 8 of spades. Or does it? The 8 of spades it is. Would you cup your hands together, please, and just say stop any time as I cut the cards onto your hands?
Stop.
Would you like any extra cards? 1 more, 2 more, 3 more, 4 more, any more?
2 more.
2 extra cards. You could have stopped anyway. You could have said two more or 3 more. You would have had this, 4 more, 5 more, 6 more, but you stopped right here on the 8 of spades. Oh, how did she do that? Are you a poker player?
Occasionally. I dabble.
Well, in which case, perhaps if I were to give you this card and this card, that would be a good start in poker, would it not?
It would be.
Yeah, what they call pocket rockets. Are you happy there are just 2 playing cards there?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. We'll take the 2 cards here for a second, just cut them into the deck about halfway down. There we go, hearts and diamonds. Cut them in halfway. If I click my fingers now, they wrap themselves around one single playing card just here in the centre. It just so happens to be maybe if I could ask you to say, would you like the 8 of spades to continue, or should I choose another playing card?
Let's continue with the 8 of spades.
Perfect. And would you like me to do this last bit for you, the easy way or the hard way?
Oh, I think the hard way.
Of course, which means that I don't use my hands. One card folded. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the 8 of spades. Well, enjoy your meal. Do call me over if you need any more assistance. I trust the main course is the right temperature, Madame.
Delicious, it's lovely and warm. It's bubble and squeak.
Oh, fantastic. Did you write bubble and squeak? I did. You did? Thank you so much. How is your dessert, Madame? Is it to your liking?
Delicious. It's my favourite. It's fruit salad with cream.
Did you write fruit salad with cream?
I did.
You did? Amazing. And perhaps you'd like to wash that down in a little beverage. Looks delightful.
Delicious.
write down a Mai Tai, a cocktail? Is that correct? Thank you so much indeed. Well done. Telepathy works best when you have a special connection with someone or something. And quite often as a child we get attached to a particular toy or object, and if it's our favourite we carry it everywhere with us. We get very excited about it, and you know, we're inconsolable if we ever lose it. Do you want to tell me about your childhood toy?
Yes, when I was little I got for Christmas this bear, and for some reason he was dressed in a prisoner's outfit. So I called him Pretty Boy Floyd. And I used to think up all these different scenarios for him, things he could have done. So the good things and the bad things. I have him here now, actually, shall I?
Bring him out.
Oh, here he was hiding from me. Right. Here he is. Isn't he a cutie?
Now, we want to try something with your connection with the bear, don't we?
Yes.
So if you would just pass him over here for a moment. Don't worry, I'll take good care. Thank you very much. And for this, we're going to ask you to leave the room and ask someone to take you outside as well, just to watch you and make sure nothing happens, right?
Yes.
So would you like to choose someone?
Yes, sure. I'm going to go someone further back. Maybe would you mind? Is that okay? Would you mind coming with me? Yeah, you there, is that okay?
Who's that? Okay,
That's it.
so can I just say, you will miss a little bit of the show. I do apologise for that. But your job is just to make sure that Rebecca can't see or hear anything outside of this room, okay? So if you just follow her, she'll explain what to do. You just go with her?
Okay, just this way.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, now that Rebecca is out of the room, we're going to try something with Pretty Boy Floyd. First of all, I'm going to throw him over my shoulder, and I want someone in this half of the audience to catch him, okay? Are you ready?
Whoa.
Sorry about that. Okay, perfect. Now, in case you think, well, maybe I've practiced to throw him to a certain position in the audience, would you throw him somewhere else?
Oh,
Good job. And if you, whoever has him now, would you throw him again, please? Okay, so he's ended up with someone on the back over there. Now, what's your name?
Susan.
Susan?
Susan.
Can I ask you to check the bear, Susan? Make sure there's nothing, you know, hidden on his person.
Looks fine.
Where is our security person from earlier? Over there. Can I just ask him to check the bear as well, because he'll be practiced at this. If you just pass him all the way down to this, just because we want a thorough check of this, okay? What I want you to do is just to make sure that there is nothing hidden inside the bear, like any electronic devices or anything like that. Just give him a good squidge, check him over, make sure he hasn't hidden any drugs behind his ears or anything like that. Are you happy? Okay, pass him back. So it was back with Susan, please. Great. Susan, point to someone else in the audience. Who is that? Would you raise your hand? Hello.
Hi.
I want you to think of a crime that the bear might have committed to anything at all. So it could be, you know, as wild as you like. What would you like? Think of something.
Okay.
Go on, tell us.
Who is it?
Yeah.
Fraud.
Fraud. It's a bit generic, but it's. Do you want to be any more specific?
Wire fraud.
Wire fraud. Okay. Now at this point, Susan, I would normally ask you to hide the bear on your person, which might be a little difficult because he's quite a big bear. So maybe you would like to hide him anywhere in this room. you want to get up for us for a second, have a little look around? The only thing I would say is maybe don't hide underneath the tablecloth on stage, because that's a little bit obvious. But anywhere else you like. Where do you think? You go for a good walk, you can take your time. Are you happy?
It's fine there.
Yeah?
It's getting toasty and warm.
Okay, all right. Lovely. So, allow me just to recap a little bit. So I threw the bear over my shoulder this way, it ended up over here, then it went over to Susan, and I couldn't have known that it was going to end up with Susan tonight, right? Yeah? And also, that you pointed to somebody else, again, who I couldn't have known who it would be, and you suggested wire fraud. So that's great. By the way, there was a magician in the 1970s who had a TV series called Kreskin. I think he's still around today, actually. He performs stage shows still. And what he does is he does something a bit like this in the show, where he gets someone to hide his cheque for the evening. And if he can't find it, he doesn't get paid. We're not doing that. In a moment, I'm going to ring this bell, and that's a cue for Rebecca to come back into the room. And it's a loud bell, but she won't be able to hear anything we're saying right now, but that is really quite loud, so hopefully she will be able to hear that and know to come back in. But we'll ask the person who took her out just to verify that they couldn't hear anything outside the room as well. By the way, I don't know if you know the story of Pretty Boy Floyd, but he was sort of a Robin Hood character, actually, in Oklahoma. He was a bank robber, very famous for robbing banks and his use of a machine gun. And he used to destroy public records as he was doing it. And actually, you know, the public liked him for that because it got rid of some of their problems as well. And his first ever crime was stealing, I think it was $3.50 from a post office. So there you go. Small things get bigger. So I will ring this bell, and then I will remain silent and motionless until the conclusion of the demonstration.
First of all, could I please get you to confirm you can see or hear anything happening in this room? Wonderful, thank you. Please go back to your seat. So first of all, I need to work out who hid Pretty Boy Floyd. So Tony, please concentrate on that. Please concentrate on the person who hid Pretty Boy Floyd. No, I'm not. There's someone on this side of the room. It's someone in this section. Tony, concentrate on the row. It's not the front, it's... Yes. Did you hide Pretty Boy Floyd?
I did.
You did. Wonderful. Don't give anything else away. I now need to work out where he's hidden. Tony, please concentrate on the location of Pretty Boy Floyd. Oh. It's somewhere quite warm. It's not in the audience or on the stage. It's somewhere near the back. I'm still getting this hot feeling. Tony, concentrate on what that is. Is he hidden behind the radiator? Yes. He is very warm. Tony, please concentrate on Pretty Boy Floyd's crime. It's a fraud of some sort. Concentrate on... I'm not totally sure what This means, but why a fraud?
That is correct. Why a fraud? Thank you very much indeed. Now, I mentioned earlier on the term second sight and the goings-on at Egyptian Hall. Around the mid-1800s, there was another demonstration of second sight getting some attention just across the channel, wasn't there? By a French magician called Jean-Eugène Robert Houdin, who later became known as the father of modern conjuring, because he pioneered a new way of presenting magic to the public and dressed in modern dress.
Yes, Harry Houdini even called himself Houdini after this magician.
Now, Robert Houdin had a show in Paris called La Soirée Fantastique, which took place in one of the opulent drawing rooms of the Palais Royal. And in the show, his son would be blindfolded, sat on a stool. Robert Houdin would go down into the audience and pick up objects and say things like, "Could you identify this object, please?" Or, "Would you tell us what this is, please?" And his son would do so, supposedly under the power of telepathy. Now, there were some in the audience who thought maybe they had some sort of hidden verbal code, but no one could quite work out what it was. And around 100 years later, there was another feat being performed by the Piddingtons, quite similar, although somewhat different. The main difference there was that no one could work them out at all. They had no clue as to the method. They were, quite simply, unfathomable. Their presentation was heard by 20 million listeners on BBC Radio in 1949. It was witnessed by 4 independent judges and a studio audience. You can still hear that recording today. Do you think they'd like to see what they did? Would you like to see what they did?
Yeah.
Yes? Thank you. Would you check the envelope, please? Happy?
Fantastic. So now we need things to put in the envelope. So things that you have on your person, in your pockets, your wallets, your bags, but keyly things that you don't mind not getting back. So things like receipts, old tickets, leaflets, but not your travel card home tonight. So yep, have a look now, have a rummage through, but keyly things you will not be getting back.
Could I maybe ask for, let's say, let's give the back 2 rows of the audience to do this actually. So just pass the envelope back if you would. Let's have people in the back 2 rows put something into the envelope if they've got something. If it can just work its way along this half of the audience, then all the way over here. That'd be great.
And while that's happening, could you please blindfold me, Tony?
So I'm going to blindfold Rebecca so she cannot see what you're putting in the envelope. Getting on. If we can just work its way this way to this half of the audience, please. Make sure they have a chance to put something in. Just pass it all the way down, please, if you would. Any tips appreciated, of course. All good? Thank you. I must show my hands empty before I pick this up. I'll say a couple of things. Firstly, I'll choose items that are slightly more distinctive. And all I will say is, what is this, Rebecca? What is this, Rebecca?
This is it's quite small and plasticky. But I think it's a little bag, and there's something in it. It's hard and round like a coin, but it's not a coin. Yes, it's a button.
It is indeed a button, yes. Could you tell me what colour?
Yes, it's quite dark. It's black.
It is indeed a black button. What is this, Rebecca?
This is it's paper, some sort of quite stiff paper. It's a leaflet, and there's a picture on the front. I feel like it's something to do with church. It's a stained glass picture.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. A stained glass.
Could you pass it to someone in the audience, Tony?
Yep.
Okay. To the person holding it now, could you please open it up? And I feel like there's this box, a square. It's quite pale in colour, a light purple. Is that there in the middle?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
There's wonderful. I'm getting some words, a date, the 15th of December, and some of it's a bit hazy, but I can see carols on the hour.
Correct.
That is correct, absolutely. Thank you very much. What is this, Rebecca?
This is it's papery, and there's some of the edges are a bit rough. It's something cut from a newspaper.
Yes, it is, absolutely.
Could you pass it to someone in the audience, Tony?
Yeah.
To the person holding this now, it feels a bit thick to be newspaper. Is it folded?
Yeah.
It is. Could you unfold it for me, please?
Yeah, done.
Wonderful. Oh, I can see like black and white squares. It's almost like a chessboard or something. Oh no, it's a crossword.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Is there anything written into that crossword?
Yeah, there is.
There is. Wonderful. Could you point to any of those words for me and just concentrate on it? Really concentrate. I'm not getting anything. Could you please keep pointing to that word and just show it to Tony so he can help you concentrate?
Yep.
Okay. It's just concentrate on the first letter for me. It's F.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And this is going across, isn't it? It's not going down. It's going across.
Yeah,
this
it
word. Wonderful. Could you pick any other letter in that word for me that you want? Any letter at all?
Okay.
T.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, there are 2 T's in this word, aren't there?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm getting like a okay. I'm going to go for the whole word. It's flutters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are there any other words in that crossword?
Yeah, there are.
There are. Wonderful. Could you pick another one and point to it for me?
Okay.
Just run your finger over it. I'm going to try and get this just from you. Just concentrate on this word and run your finger over it. Is it? It's going down, isn't it?
Across.
It's going across. Okay, across. Yes. Just yeah. Concentrate. Keep running your finger over it. Really concentrate on that word. Really concentrate. Okay. I'm going to try and go for the whole word. It's escape.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, thank you very much indeed. Well done, Rebecca.
Have believed in the existence of a third eye. This is sometimes called the mind's eye or inner eye. It is believed to provide perception beyond ordinary sight. It is also believed to be the gateway to higher consciousness. Now, what most people don't know is that the third eye doesn't actually have to be in the middle of your forehead. It can be anywhere. You just have to believe you can actually see with it. Did you know that, Tony?
No.
No. Well, we didn't talk about this earlier, but there's something I'd quite like to show the audience when my back is turned. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to come stand over here, and could you please get someone to pick a card? Anyone in the audience?
Sure. Should you do this for me? Maybe not near the top. Okay. And just have a quick look at it and keep it to yourself. Okay, done that?
Wonderful. And then I have a pen here. Could you please take it from me?
Yeah.
And then could you draw an eye on your hand?
On my hand?
Yeah, just draw an eye on the palm of your hand.
I hope this isn't permanent marker.
No, it's not. Oh, I can see sort of funny. What is that? I can see sort of funny patterns and almost like swells. Oh, I think it's the carpet. Oh, I can see you. Oh, okay. Point your hand out towards the audience, Tony, and then just move it around. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And stop. Oh, this is someone in the audience. It's a man. He's quite young. He's got brown hair, like a kind of mid-colour brown hair, and he's wearing a light-coloured shirt. I think it's light blue.
Yes, that's something like that, absolutely, yeah.
And okay, let's try it again. Move your hand around again.
Yeah, okay.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And stop.
Okay.
This is the person with the card.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Yes, if you're holding that card, could you please turn it towards Tony's hand, please? Tony, you look away.
Yep.
Just hold it towards Tony's hand. Oh, yes, it's the 5 of spades.
What did you choose? It is the 5 of spades.
Let's try that again. Mm-hmm. Feel free to move around if you want to.
Yeah.
Just put anywhere. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And stop.
Okay.
I can see legs.
Yes.
And I think, I might be able to see just kind of past the legs and underneath there's a bag there.
Yeah, there's a bag,
There.
yes.
It's kind of like a beige, light brown tan colour.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, would you hold it up, please?
Like a leather handbag, and there's sort of like little studs near the top.
Yes, there's something I can't quite see, but would you hold it up so we can all see? Would that be all right? Just hold it nice and high. Yeah. Okay.
Is that there? Fantastic. Okay. And I can't see what's in it.
No.
Though. No. Tony, could you please take that pen again and draw an X on your hand over that eye?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just like an X cross on your hand.
Yeah, okay.
Wonderful. Oh, now I've got X-ray vision. Okay. Really move that around.
Hold the bag up for me.
Bag. Yep. Hold the bag.
Hold the bag up. That's it.
Okay. Oh, okay. I can see like a can, almost like I was going to say paint spray, but I think it's more likely like a body spray type can. And there's there's a book. It's quite little, and quite thick socks, like white socks. A pair of them, and some Tic Tacs, which are, I believe, orange and green.
Right. Would you open the bag for me, please? And are there any orange and green Tic Tacs, white socks, a book, or some? What was it you said?
Like a body spray.
Body spray. Any of those things in there at all? Yes, we have here Seikol body spray, fragrance body spray. We have some white socks. There we go. And anything else? You've got a purse. You have a book. Yes, that was mentioned, wasn't it? You mentioned a book, I think.
I believe I did.
And I can hear something. It sounds like orange and green Tic Tacs, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Psychics, mediums, and telepaths have over the years made various claims, but the one thing that cannot be faked is predicting the future. Because let's face it, if you could, we'd be buying lottery tickets rather than performing a show, and I'd have my own yacht by now.
Yes, or we'd be, placing large bets in high-stakes poker games.
Yes. Oh, which reminds me, you had something you wanted to show the audience to do with predicting the future?
Yes, I did, although it's very difficult to predict the future, and there's a slim chance that this would work, but it'd be nice if we got close, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think we should give it a go.
Okay, all right.
Would you mind pointing to anyone in the audience for me?
Lady there?
This lady here?
The lady with the bag?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Would you mind joining us on the stage? What's your name?
Elaine.
Elaine. Lovely. Just sit down there.
Nice to meet you, Elaine. Are you a card player at all?
Yes and no.
You dabble, maybe occasionally you might play cards
Yeah,
over
snap.
Christmas or something, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's try something with you. You're going to... snap us. I'll tell you what, let's try something. Imagine that you are a croupier in a casino, okay? Hold the deck for me. What I want you to do, got them? There you go. I would like you to deal them down onto the table, just one on top of the other for me. Just deal them one at a time on top of the other. Yeah, that's it, keep going. And maybe if you could do little packets or clumps so we get through a little faster, so little packets or clumps of cards. So, little packets, little clumps, so little groups of cards together. Just otherwise we'll be here all night, so there you go. Still, I don't want to do it myself. Yeah, that's it, exactly. There we go. Yeah, you've got the idea. Perfect. That's it. And now that puts the deck into a new order that I couldn't possibly know, right?
Yep.
Yeah? Could I ask you to just take the cards for a second? And have you ever heard the expression burning a card? No. So this is where you would get rid of some playing cards, okay? So take the top and bottom playing card and burn them into the centre of the pack. So put them into the middle. The top and bottom playing cards. That's in case you think maybe I saw what they were, right? Are you happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this again. I want you to deal little packets or clumps down onto the table for me. And stop when you get to where you think is, I don't know, about halfway through the deck. Yeah? would you just estimate in your mind how many cards you've got left in that amount left in your hand there? Okay, don't say that out loud, but you've got a rough idea? Okay, in case you think maybe I saw the top or bottom playing card of this bit here, just burn those into the centre of the pack in your hand. Okay. And now if you'd have a quick look at the bottom playing card in your hand there. Just quickly look at it, keep it secret, yeah?
Quick
That's
look.
it, look, quick look, keep it secret. You done that? Yeah? And just shuffle them all up, shuffle all the cards up.
Shuffle the cards.
Yeah, mix them all, mix them all. Are you happy I couldn't have seen what you looked at? Yeah? Right, just put the cards down for me. I'd like to imagine something. Imagine in front of you right now, there was a jumbo playing card, a really big playing card, okay? Imagine the indices, the top corners. Look straight out in front of you, imagine the indices right here and here. And the first thing I can tell you is it feels like it's a number card rather than a picture card, right? And also it feels quite warm. It feels like it's a red card. So I ask you just to imagine the pips for me. That's it, just keep thinking about those for me. There's something here, it feels like diamonds. Is that right? Yeah, think again for me, the pips here and here, here and here. Actually, you're thinking, is it 2 of diamonds you're thinking of? 2 of diamonds? What was
3
it?
of diamonds.
3 of diamonds. Okay, I got pretty close. Thank you very much. 3 of diamonds. All right. Thank you very much. Have a seat, please. Thank you so much for helping. Now, the definitive test of the mentalist or telepath is something known as the book test, but only if it's done under strict scientific conditions, not magician's conditions. Then it really is one of the hardest things to pull off. Do you feel up to it tonight?
I do. I think I'd like to give it a go.
Okay, please choose someone.
Could I please have you point to anyone else in the audience? Oh, me? Yeah, would you like to point to someone? That was good pointing. Would you like to come join us on the stage? Thank you so much.
Round of applause, please.
Sam, now first of all, Sam, I would like you for the final time tonight to make some checks. Please check my ears. Make sure there's nothing sticking out of them, nothing behind them.
Nope.
This side too.
Nope.
Please check my mouth. Wonderful. And finally, please check this blindfold. Make sure it's completely opaque. There is nothing hidden inside it. There are no hidden holes.
Nope. All good.
Happy?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Could you please help tie this around my head in a double knot or a bow, whichever's easiest for you?
Okay.
Fantastic. And then I've wandered a little bit far away from it. Could you please help me to the chair?
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Definitely a plan.
Thank you.
Perfect. Now, just behind you on the floor, there's a pile of books. Will you just pick those up for me, please?
Yeah.
I'd like you to choose one of the books.
Okay.
Okay? And just put the others down behind you there. What is the last page number of that book?
608.
608. So you have a choice between 1 and 608. Yeah?
Okay.
Which page would you like?
322.
322. Turn to page 322, please.
Should have picked an easier one to get. Okay.
322, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, would you estimate how many lines you think are on that page?
About 25.
About 25, okay. So would you give me a number between 1 and 25?
12.
12. What I would like you to do is to count down with your finger, including any single words, to line 12.
Again.
All right? And yeah, you got that? I would like you just to concentrate on that line. In a moment, I will count down as well myself, and I will say one thing and one thing only. Is that the line you chose? If it is, say yes. Just turn to this front for me. This page here, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is that the line you chose?
Yeah.
There's something there about something to do with the mind and something to do with worth and it not being worth anything. Could you concentrate on that bit for me?
Yeah.
There's a word here that I'm stuck on. It's really concentrate. It's something. It's quite close to something that I would know, but I'm not sure if it's after that word to do with the worth of something. There's this word. Could you concentrate on that for me? Okay, I'm going to go for the beginning part of this line. That's what I'm clear on. It's such thoughts are useless.
Can you read just there what it says, please?
There's such thoughts are useless.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. So we hope that we have convinced you that telepathy is in some way possible tonight.
And that foresight maybe isn't.
Okay, but I mean, I got close. I was only one off with the card, right? So it was 3 of diamonds rather than 2 of diamonds. But, you know, no one can predict the future.
Nevertheless, we hope you've enjoyed the show.
And we'd like to leave you with one final thought.
If we could predict the future, surely we would have presented you with the most unfathomable show you've ever seen.
Which reminds me, the DVD. Would you take it out, put it back in the player, please? We'll play it with the sound on this time.
That sounds like a very good idea.
Hi there. We're here to set up for Unfathomable tonight.
We're really looking forward to seeing all of you.
Okay. Right. Are you looking forward to the show tonight, Rebecca?
I am very much so.
Do you think any particular words might come up this evening?
I feel like the words escape and flutters might feature in the show tonight.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, the person with the mobile phone at the beginning is going to be called Chris, and he's going to be wearing a tartan scarf. The phrase that's going to be whispered into the milk bottle tonight will be, "Goats eat grass."
Great. Excellent. That bit where you float over the audience is quite interesting. Do you have any idea what the numbers might be?
Oh yes, I'm sure there'll be 17368, which coincidentally is Pretty Boy Floyd's prisoner number. Oh, and wait until you meet Lindsay, who draws a picture of a cat.
And what about that big card at the end? Do you have any inkling as to what it might be?
Oh,
tricky one. I'm really not sure on this, but the 3 of diamonds keeps popping into my head, so I'm going to go with that.
Well, we'll find out later.